Are you looking for a bidirectional diagnostics tool that has a wide vehicle support and lots of extra functionality? Simple Car Guy here, and today we are checking out this INNOVA 5610 scan tool that just might be exactly what you need. Taking a look at the box, we can see some of the functionality it can do. This product comes with a 1-year warranty and lifetime free updates. On the back of the box, we can see the advantages of getting the 5610 compared to other products in the product line. The biggest benefit here is the enhanced live data and bidirectional functionality. Inside the box, we get a card for support, which is based in North America, as well as the quick start guide with a link to a full manual that's very extensive and well written. If you've never used a more advanced scanner before, this would be a great manual to read. The OBD2 cable is included in the box along with the scanner. The scanner itself feels solid and fits well in the hand, but I wish there was a non-slip case or cover for it. Now let's get comfy in the car and test out all of the features. Alright, so let's see what this INNOVA 5610 can do. I wanted to start from the very beginning and just plug it in so we can see how it works from the moment you plug it in. As you can see, I just updated it to the latest software, which is for 2022, so it supports all the latest vehicles. And now it just took a few seconds for it to actually identify the vehicle and kind of customize the view and the look for us based on the vehicle that we are in. So right now we're in a Hyundai Kona, which it identified, and it's telling us that we are. Right away here at the top, you have your IM monitor status. So for emissions, basically, this will tell you if you pass emissions or not, and this LED does the same thing. So when it's green, it's telling to the car, yes, we'll actually pass the emissions. If it's yellow here in the middle, that means you have some pending codes, so the car may not pass the emissions. And of course, here on the right side, you'll have a red LED that will tell us that, yeah, definitely will not pass emissions. But yeah, it's pretty nice, very easy to see. Not much for you to actually think about. It just shows you yes or no and done. A few things here at the bottom that are slightly different from many other scanners that I have reviewed is that we do have quite a few buttons here, not just a D-pad. So here in the top left, we have the erase button. It will erase all current codes on the vehicle from all of the modules. We have the system status. We'll check that out in just a minute. We have DT codes and freeze frames. So these are going to be stored codes for the vehicle, as well as the emission codes where you can check out, or well, the frames itself, to see if that's something you need to work on or if you need to clear them. You also have the power and link button, so you can power it on by holding it for 3 seconds. And then you have the link button, which basically brings us to kind of this view. It's telling us if there's any DTCs on this vehicle. We also have the menu button, which of course we'll go to in just a minute, and live data. This will show us live data for the module that we are kind of working on, or the specific system that we are working on. And these are just helping buttons to help you navigate through the system, just like these are up and down, and then the enter button. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is go to menu. All right, so we're going to go to menu, and now we get a few different options. We have active test, special function, service reset, service check, OBD mode test, EV battery or regular battery testing. We also have drive cycle procedures and a few other items here at the bottom. We also have tool settings where I went and disabled the beeping noise. You also have these languages that you can switch to, and units of measure between standard and metric. So that's the main menu, and we're going to check all of these functions out in just a minute. But before we do that, let's go to system status. This is more of a diagnostics menu from what I can see. And first we have global OBD2. So this is going to be the same screen as we saw earlier when we turned on the device. So it's going to scan OBD2 and tell us if the car will pass emissions, just like that. Then we also have ABS. So if we go to this, it's going to ask us if this is the correct car. Yes, it is. That's exactly what we are in. It also takes just a moment for it to show us that there is no codes on this car. So yeah, this is definitely made to work on ABS and SRS and TPMS. Let's see what it says. And it says the same thing. So there is no issues on this specific vehicle. This also can scan individual modules. So if we go ahead and scan all modules, we'll see what we can see in there basically. But you also have the option to do the module selection. So if you don't want to scan the entire vehicle, you can go to module selection. And here you can select from each system, and if that system has, let's say, 2 modules, it will scan each one of those as well. But I'm going to do all modules to see how long it takes and what kind of information it can show us. So yeah, let's give it a minute. It shouldn't take too long. It's going pretty fast. All right, so it took about 30 seconds to scan all of the modules, and there are 17 on this specific vehicle. So now we can just scroll through all of the modules, and as we can see, all of them say 0 DTC, so that means there are no issues. And of course, we can just click on each one, and it will basically tell us the same information because, well, that's what it is. There's no issues there, right? And of course, you can view live data for all the supported modules. So we would still press the same live data button. So let's say we select the dual clutch transmission. I'm going to hit live data, and then it's going to take us straight to live data. We can just scroll through it to see that information just like that. And of course, we can go to the engine module and see the same thing. So it's just going to take us a second for it to load. And then we're going to see the live data for the engine module. Just like that. Obviously, this one has a lot, so it has 216 PIDs. Yeah, so there's a lot to see. So yeah, this is super useful when you're troubleshooting, especially if you're trying to do things live. You know, issues are, let's say, only happening when you're driving, so you can have a passenger sit in the car and view the data, the live data, while you're driving and trying to see what's happening. Hyundai OEM enhanced. So this is if you have any Hyundai specific codes, it will show them in here. So this car doesn't have any, so luckily we are good to go. Anyway, going back to the main menu, we have a few pretty cool options here as well. First, we have active tasks. So if you go to active tasks, it's going to show us the modules that are supported. That kind of brings me to, I guess, a little bit of a negative. It looks like it only supports the engine module on this specific vehicle. I'm sure there's other vehicles that it supports a lot more, but on this one, it only supports the engine one. I know other scanners that I have used, granted a lot more expensive than this one, did allow me to do active testing on pretty much every module that's on this vehicle. But anyway, let's go in and see what it allows us to do. Once we are in, we can see that these are the options that we have available to test. For example, we can turn on oil change warning lamp. Okay, so we're going to do that. Hit OK, start. And there you go, it's showing us, hey, change oil. And then I'm just gonna stop it, and it disappears. So yeah, that's pretty cool. It basically allows you to enable certain options on different modules that are supported. Like I said, on this vehicle, it looks like there's only one module that's supported. But we can also turn on, for example, the fuel pump. So we can go to fuel pump control, click OK, start. And if I'm gonna be quiet. I don't know if you can hear it, but basically I heard the fuel pump turn on and you have the pressure building up in the system. So pretty cool option there as well. So this would be the bidirectional functionality of this scanner on this specific vehicle. Like I said, on different vehicles, it's going to look a little bit different. We also have some special functions. So if you go to special functions, we have the same module that supports it. We have evap leakage test, and we can reset adaptation values. We also have service reset and service check. Service check only works on certain vehicles as well. I know I checked it on my BMW and it works well. On this one, it is not supported. So Hyundai just doesn't support it, but you can reset different services. Oil light, the battery reset. So if you change the battery in this vehicle, you can reset it through here. You also have your steering angle sensor calibration. So these are kind of like the special functions. You have the electronic parking brake reset. You have the diesel particular filter reset, ABS bleeding. We also have OBD mode test. So you can do evap testing. You can do the IM monitoring test. So the kind of what we saw earlier. Let's say we do since DTCs have been cleaned, and there you go. It shows us all of the components, and all of them are showing if it has been, properly tested by the vehicle and will you pass emissions or not. And you have more information on what each one does. Another cool function on this scanner is battery and alternator test. So you can go in and test the battery. It will make you basically turn on the headlights, wait 30 seconds, and then start the vehicle, and it'll check the voltage to see how low it dropped and whether, and tell you whether the battery is good or not. Also, this battery and alternator test option will show you some very cool information on an electric vehicle. For example, on my BMW i3, you can see the actual state of charge compared to what the car actually shows. So when the vehicle is charged to 100%, well, indicated by the actual dashboard, it's only charged to 80%. BMW does this to save the battery and for a lot of other things, but you can actually see the actual battery status, which is pretty cool. I find that amazing, and I haven't seen it on many other scanners before. Just a few other like firmware versions and tool library and tool settings. So in the tool library, we have like a few icons that tells you, or a few options that tell you what the icons mean. For example, the ones that show up at the top at the very beginning, pretty useful when you know, trying to learn and see what those mean. But yeah, so that's basically the functionality of the scanner. What I'm gonna do now is connect my phone to the scanner via Bluetooth and see what we can do in the app. Let's check out what this app can actually do. So I just downloaded this Repair Solutions 2 app from the App Store, and now I'm just going to open it up. I'm gonna hit Connect Scan Tool, and it's just making sure that my Bluetooth is on. This is plugged into the car and the ignition is on. Yes, we're gonna hit continue to make sure that is correct. Now it's gonna search for the scan tool. It found it. Gonna click connect, and now it's pairing. We can see the Bluetooth icon has gone blue. All right, it's been successfully connected. Now it's gonna get the information from the vehicle, or from the scanner about the vehicle. And now we can go in and go to report history and click on this one right here. So now it's going to get the information, and here we have the actual information. I'm going to put this away since we no longer need it. We can see that there are no codes on this vehicle, and all of the modules have passed the test. So it lists you all the modules that were worked on or that were scanned, and which shows us if it passed or not. We also have the common dashboard lights to see if any of those were on. It also shows us that we are ready to pass emissions, aka the green light. We have the technical service bulletins and recalls available as well, which is pretty cool. This is actually very, very useful information, so you can see what kind of stuff you might want to take your car to the dealer for. You also have upcoming maintenance that would normally be done by the dealer. You can do those yourself. And looks like they have links to third-party places where you can purchase the items that you may need to do so. We also have a link to vehicle report, so it's kind of like a Carfax thing, which you can use if you like. Also, predicted repair. So this is something that may or may not fail on this vehicle based on history that they have received from, not really sure where, but probably from other people reporting this issue. We have a pretty cool app. It's pretty useful. Nothing too crazy, but I do like that it shows you this information, and you can easily send this as a report to, somebody, a client or somebody like that that you're working with. Now, what do I like about this scanner? Well, I do like that it does all system scanning. I like that it allows you to do bidirectional tests on the modules that it supports. I also like the special functions that allow you to do all the resets that you may need on the vehicle, and as well as things like electronic parking brake and brake fluid bleeding and things like that. I also really like that this is an American US company that's trusted brand, and they have in-house technicians that you can reach that are actually in US, and you can reach them and talk to them, and it's not made in China. Also, there are no subscriptions, so you will not have to pay any subscription ever. You do have to remember though that not all vehicles support all functions that this product offers. So, sometimes you have to confirm that certain OEM features will work with this scanner by contacting the company and checking for your coverage to make sure it actually works for what you need. Another thing I noticed that I didn't like is that, well, it doesn't come with a case or a cable. I wish it came with a USB cable that I had to use in order to update it, because mine came with a 2019 or 2020 software. So it was a couple years out of date, basically, so I had to update it to 2022. Speaking of updating, you can only update through a computer. You cannot use Wi-Fi or anything like that to update it, which, is not bad, but a lot of the more modern, I guess, scanners can do it through Wi-Fi, and that's a little bit more convenient. The software, though, looks very good. It doesn't look spammy or scammy, and it is easy to use. There's no bloatware or anything like that. So that works pretty well. You do have to use that computer. On that note, I hope you have learned something about this INNOVA 5610. If you have any questions, leave those down below, and I would love to get those answered for you. If you'd like to see more videos like this, click on this playlist right here. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.